Julius Caesar was elected as consul of Rome in 59 BC. After serving his term, he was appointed governor of certain regions in Gaul. Gaul encompassed present-day France, Belgium, Luxembourg, and parts of Switzerland, the Netherlands, Germany, and northern Italy. Keep this in mind, although Britain was not directly in the Gallic Wars, security concerns prompted the invasion of the island in 55 and 54 BC. Julius Caesar's Gallic Wars were largely triggered by the Helvetii, a Gallic tribe planning to migrate into Gaul, viewing this as a threat to Roman territory and stability, and some will add a political maneuver. Caesar responded. To conquer, the 13th Legion was born. They were the hammer in Caesar's hands and continued to serve him well after the aforementioned wars. The firelight flickers like the banners of Rome, and in its glow comes forth the legion that stood at the dawn of an empire, that bled for its commander, and whose name still echoes through time. Legio Gemina, the 13th Twin Legion. In the dying days of the Roman Republic, amidst the ambitions of generals and the schemes of senators, a warrior arose. His name was Gaius Julius Caesar, and with him stood a legion that would change the course of history, the Legio Gemina, the 13th. Raised around 57 BC during the Gallic Wars, they were not just soldiers, they were the embodiment of loyalty and the tip of Caesar's spear. Unlike other legions that had long histories, the 13th was young, untested, but Caesar molded them in his image, disciplined, fearless, and utterly devoted. They marched through the fields of Gaul, clashed with the fierce tribes of the north, and carved their name into the flesh of Rome's enemies. Due to political intrigue back home in Rome, after the Gallic Wars concluded, the Roman Senate denied Caesar a second consulship, commanded him to relinquish his military authority, and insisted he return to Rome to stand trial. It was in the year 49 BC that the 13th Legion entered legend. Rome was in turmoil, and the Senate, turning against Caesar, ordered to disband his armies or be declared an enemy of the state. He was left with no better choice but to fight. With a single legion, only the 13th, Caesar stood at the banks of the Rubicon, the river that marked the boundary between the Roman provinces and the heart of the Republic. To cross meant treason. To cross meant war. He looked upon his men, men who had fought beside him, men who had bled for him, and they did not waver. With the words, Alea iacta est, Caesar stepped forward, and with him the 13th Legion followed. No turning back, no surrender. They marched on Rome without a single battle. The city was his, the Senate fled before them, and the Republic's fate was sealed. But Rome would not be won so easily. Pompey Magnus, Caesar's great rival, gathered his legions and war ignited. Through Spain, Greece, and Egypt, the 13th fought battle after battle. At Pharsalus 48 BC, vastly outnumbered, Caesar and his legions crushed Pompey's forces. At Thapsus 46 BC and Munda 45 BC, they ensured Caesar's final victory. The Republic was gone, and Caesar ruled as a god among men. The 13th Legion had carried him to glory. Alas, alas. But fate is cruel, and Caesar's triumph was short-lived. On March 15, 44 BC, beneath the marble pillars of the Senate, daggers found his back. Betrayed, his blood staining the floor, the man who had forged an empire fell. But the 13th Legion lived on. They sided with Caesar's heir, Octavian, the future Augustus, and fought against Mark Antony in the final war of the Republic. Their swords helped forge the Roman Empire itself. With the Republic buried, the 13th Legion was reforged, renamed Legio 13th Gemina, the Twin Legion. They became an imperial force stationed across the empire. They guarded the Danube frontier, fought against barbarians, and stood as Rome's shield for centuries. They fought under Trajan in Dacia, they held the line against Parthians, and even as Rome's light began to fade, they stood, loyal as ever, warriors to the end. The Roman Empire would crumble, the world would change, but the legend of the 13th never faded. Their name still echoes in the annals of history, tied forever to Caesar's rise, to the Rubicon's crossing, to the very heart of Rome's glory.